Today we're going to be looking at a monster. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel Kazzalistic, and hi to my new subscribers. Thank you very much for joining me. So today we're going to be looking at this big old beast. It's come out a lot bigger than I expected, but I didn't actually look at the measurements before I started the pattern, so it's my own fault. But I think it's come out really cute. I've kind of followed the rough colourway for the pattern. I have gone off yarn as per usual, used what I've got in my stash. But I think it's super cute. That's it at the back. So it kind of almost looks like it's got a frilly skirt on, I think. But yeah, and these are here are supposed to be teeth. But really cute, I think. So it's a nice big one. It can kind of did take a lot of stuffing. So I'm very low on stuffing, so I've got to save up to get some more because I'm almost out. So the AMI rate may either get smaller or slow down completely for a while until I can afford some more. But anyway, you don't need to know about my problems, do you? So the pattern I've used is actually a DMC crochet pattern. There it is. And it's called Monster. And I don't know if it's actually got a number on it. Let me just check them. There is a number on the back, so I'm not sure if that's the actual number for the pattern. 15047L/2. So right here. So I'm guessing that's the number for the pattern. But I will put a link where you can find it. Now, I do want to just state up front, this is not a sponsored video. I've not been paid in any way for talking about this pattern, either by DMC or the shop that I purchased it from. So I just want to be very clear about that before I carry on. So I actually bought this pattern from Purple Linda, which is an online shop. Those of you that are familiar with Sian's channel, you know that Sian likes using Purple Linda a lot. I've made 2 or 3 orders basically from Sian's recommendations from her. So I saw this pattern on her website and it was reduced down to £1. I did check about a week ago to see whether it was still on there before I did the video, and it was still on there for £1. So I'm going to, if it's still there today, I'm recording this on Tuesday the 10th of October, so if it's still there I will link the where you can buy the pattern down in the description from Purple Linda, because that's where I got it from. But obviously there's probably other places you can do it. Price may vary, of course, but yes, it's DMC pattern. Now, because I've bought this pattern in the UK, obviously it's in UK terminology, so I've had to do my translation bit because I tend to work in US terminology. Now, the pattern actually calls for DMC Petra number 3 cotton thread. So this was the pattern's actually designed for I think thinner yarn, and obviously for it to be cotton. I've done everything in 100% acrylic, so I haven't used anything. But the it says it needs 1 of each, so these 100 gram balls for the. This is for what the pattern calls for, in the shades purple, pink, and yellow. And you'll also need small amounts of small amounts of pearl 3. I'm guessing that's another thread yarn in white and black. It says you'll use roughly 300 grams of polyester stuffing. You will need stitch markers, and it's a size 2.5 crochet hook, 2.5 millimeters. So it's quite a straightforward pattern. There is lots of different components to it. Obviously the main part being the body. So I'm just going to talk through roughly what I've done, and then we'll talk about the yarns that I've used. So for the body, you literally start underneath where this top horn is. You're working it around, so I'm just trying to think, I think it was magic circle. Yeah, magic ring or magic circle, depending on what you call it. This is for pretty much all the components, apart from the frilly bits at the bottom. And then it's gradual increases, sort of bog standard thing. Obviously it's slightly more increases on the sides, but you're working in the round, so you do need a stitch marker. And then when you get to row, let me just check, you do the first 19 rows are basically gradual increases, and then rows 19 to 54 are bog standard UK double crochets and US single crochets. All the pattern is done, apart from the frilly bits, are all done in US singles or UK doubles. Obviously there will be increases and there will be decreases, which will be single crochet 2 together or double crochet 2 together, depending on your US or UK terminology. So so basically the sort of bulk of the body, the sort of hit this bit here, is basically just straightforward single crochets. That's US terms. So actually it was quite good in the sense, because I have I've got a couple of row counters. I actually need to invest in some more because I have so many projects on the go for you guys that I never have enough. So I've got to try and save up enough money to invest in that and some more stuffing at the minute. I did have to use a row counter just to keep track of where I was going. Of course you can use pen and paper, but I just find it easier just to click with a row counter, but that's just personal preference for me. So in a lot of ways it was quite a good project because there was a lot of rows that were just straight single crochet, working in the round. I was able to sit and do it while watching the TV. This has taken me a few weeks on and off, simply because it is such a big project, because obviously I've used bigger yarn, so it's come out a lot bigger. Now when you get to row 55, row 55, what you do, because obviously you're working this way up, you actually work on it basically upside down as you go. On the first and 54th stitch, because you've got, I think it's 108 roughly stitches in the round by the time you get to this point, you single crochet through those 2 stitches. So basically you're making a join, so nipping it in, and then the next stitches on stitch 2 and 53 you do the same again, and then you start working in the round on this leg. Again, it's a few rows of straight single crochet and then gradual decreases. And as you can see, the decreases are all very even, you can see from the lines, and then obviously seal it up. And then so obviously break off your yarn, you then reattach it on this side. You do the same thing you do through the first 2 stitches on either side and join it, and then the next 2 again, and then you work in the round and do exactly the same, even decreases, and finish off and tie off. Obviously you've got to stuff it before you tie off the second leg, and it does tell you to make sure you've stuffed it. So like I said, it did take an enormous amount of stuffing. I'm really pleased with the result of it, but it has used a lot of it's used coming up for around about half a bag of the big polyester bags you get, sort of like that, you know, the bog standard size, or certainly ones we get in the UK. It's used about half of one of those, so it has used up quite a lot. The arms are all done again in single crochet, magic ring to start, gradual increases out up to this point, and then decreases down. It's the same for both arms, and then obviously you have to stuff them, stitch them flat, and then stitch them onto the body. So you basically seal up the gap before you stitch it on. I found that was the easiest way to do it, although it doesn't really give you clear instructions on that. That's one thing I will say. The horns again all start with magic loop, I do believe. Yep, they do. They all begin with magic ring. The middle one is slightly different in that the increases work as obviously it's worked from this point upwards. The increases are a lot more gradual, and obviously you've got more rows in this one. So this one is a standalone horn. These 2 are identical. The increases are a lot quicker, and there's not as many rows, so you've got slightly shorter horns. The horns are stuffed, which is what the pattern tells you to do. The mouth, you start with a chain, you work increases on each end as you work around, and you just keep going around so it's an oval shape. But it's quite clever because it kind of almost looks like a mouth there, I think, so that's quite clever how that's done. The teeth, again, it's just a few, just very small rows backwards and forwards, and then there's one UK treble or US double, which is at the top here, and then it's slip stitched into the last stitch from the previous row just to give it a curve. And that's it for the teeth. The eyes, the pupils and the whites of the eyes are worked separately. So basically this is just a few single crochets into a magic ring and pull tight. I think it was just one round, yeah, one round. The eyes are slightly more oval shaped, so you've got more increases at the top and the bottom, but only very, very slightly to give the oval shape. I then stitch the pupils onto the whites of the eye before I stitch the whites of the eyes onto the monster. The only things that were really different were the frilly bits. So you have two very long ones, which is this one and this one, and they go just straight the way right around the body. Basically all you do for all these, all made in the same way, is you do a chain. It doesn't tell you how many to chain, you just kind of have to wrap it around the monster where it's going to go, so you get basically to the point where it goes right the way round. You then chain one and you single crochet right the way along, and then the next row you slip stitch into the first stitch. You then in the next stitch you do a UK double and then a treble and then a picot, which in US terms is single, double, picot, and in the next stitch you do treble, double crochet, that's UK terms, or double, single in the next stitch, slip stitch in the next, and then repeat. And that's basically how that's done. So it's really, really simple. So you do two long ones, one in the yellow, one in the pink, and then you have, no, sorry, I tell a lie, two yellow, one pink in the long sections that go right the way round, and then the legs you have one in each colour, so that one and that one, obviously there and there, bottom two there. So you make two of those that fit round the legs, and that's it to it. It took there is reasonable amount of sewing. The biggest bit of sewing was obviously these frilly bits. It didn't take that long. I've probably spent about an hour sewing on and off. All the features, the horns, the arms didn't take me very long at all. It really was just the frilly bits. Of course you could leave those off, that's not necessary. Particularly if you're making it for a little boy, you probably wouldn't want the frilly bits on. But I kind of think it gives it character. So what I did to put the frilly bits on is I put the yellow one on at first and pinned it, and then put the pink one above it and pinned it, and then I stitched the yellow one, then I stitched the pink one, did the same on the other side. I then put the long yellow row over the top, again pinned it, stitched it, then did the same with the pink and then with the yellow. So it's not quite even, but it's kind of at least given you the effect that you needed. I did find the pink on the long one did overlap on the legs. I got it about right. The yellow seemed to have more stretch in it, so there was an overlap, which you can see here. Just so that's basically how much I was out. But you just stitch over, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, and then arms, you just got to make sure obviously you get them even. The horns, I put the centre one on first because it was easy to see where your starting circle was, so you can centre that up, and then just sort of eyeballed it sort of fairly evenly either side. The mouth I stitched on first, then added the teeth, and then I stitched the eyes on after I put the pupils on. So that's it. That's really quite simple. A lot of work just because there is a lot of rows in it. I did get a little bit bored at one point, mainly with the frilly bit. That was the biggest issue for me. But I have to say, now I've finished it, I really, really love the result. I think it's come out really super cute. So the thing you're probably all dying to know is yarn. What yarn did I use? Okay, So this is primarily, apart from one, it will all come out of my stash. So for the body and the arms, with a slight exception, which I'll explain in a minute, so all the purple was Mariner double knit, one of my favourites, and it's shade C-028 Lavender. The code may have changed, but I know they're still calling it lavender. As you can see, I used it all. I did only have, I had used a small amount out of the ball, so I didn't have a full 100 gram balls. Had I had the full ball, I wouldn't have had the issue I have. That's one thing I will say, which you'll understand in a minute. So for the whites of the eyes and the teeth, I've used Mariner double knits. This is all out of my own stash. And it's shade 404 white. This is one of the newer codes. You should still be able to get that. So obviously used just a tiny small amount out of that. This ball was already part used anyway, so I've not used as much as it actually appears to have been. But again, it's Mariner double knit. Oh, sorry, the monster just hit the tripod, it flopped on my lap. And the colour is 052 in the shade Fondant. There we go, which is kind of a nice, pretty pink. For the pupils, I used Mariner double knit, and the colour is C-045 black. Again, this is one of the older codes, but obviously they still do black. Black is such a bog standard colour. For the yellow, I don't actually have a label. I had half a ball. That's what I've got left. It's quite a bright yellow, almost to the point where it's just between bright yellow and fluorescent. It's quite a bright colour. Now, I'm pretty sure this was yarn that Sian from Sian's Crafty Corner sent me, so thanks, Sian. Knowing Sian, I'm guessing it was quite possibly a King Cole yarn. So Sian, if you are watching and you can remember what this was, could you pop it down in the comments just so that people can see for me? But it's beautifully soft. Unfortunately I don't know what the colour shade is, but hey, any yellow in your stash is going to work, isn't it? I went for a nice bright one. I thought that would work well for this project. So I've just got a little bit, so it's around about half a ball for the horns and the frilly bits. Now, the bit that I had a problem was because I didn't have a full 100 gram ball of the lavender. I thought I was just going to have enough, and I got that arm done fine, I got the body done fine. Then I started doing this arm, and as you can see it's all matching, and then I turn it. Hopefully that's coming up okay on camera. The shade is very slightly different basically from this point here upwards. It's just that little bit there. Now, I ran out of lavender. I couldn't afford to buy any more yarn. I didn't have all the lovely yarns everybody sent me. I didn't have any plain lavenders that were even remotely the same colour. I thought about doing the arm a completely different colour, but then I thought, well, it might look a bit weird. I wasn't a bit of a perfectionist, me. So what I did is I went through what I could find, all the different lavenders, and the nearest one that came to it was actually some yarn that my friend's sister bought over for me a while ago, and I haven't used it yet. So those of you in America will recognise this. So I used that last little bit. I used the Red Heart Super Saver in the colour Orchid. So for those of you in the US, it's a medium number 4, which is roughly, I think, about our Aran weight, or somewhere between our DK and Aran. It is 100% acrylic. I will say all these yarns are 100% acrylic, and obviously these don't have dye lots. This is the first time I've ever used Red Heart yarn. Didn't have any issues with it. I found it a little bit stiffer than the Mariner, but it's a slightly thicker yarn, so no great surprises there. One thing I will say, you guys in America and other parts of the world where you have Red Heart, I love this centre pull. All balls of yarn I centre pull. I don't like my yarn flying around all over the place. I know you can get bowls and stuff, but I can't afford to do that. And I prefer centre pulling just because it keeps everything from flying around, and it's just personal preference, isn't it? But I just love that it's ready to pull, and I pulled it and I had no issue. I've heard some people do get yarn vomit from Red Heart yarns. I didn't first go. It was a great experience. So I have to say I much prefer how your yarns are wound compared to ours. It's easier to store. Just, yeah, I was quite impressed. So for a first go, I was quite pleased with that. So I've only used a very tiny amount out of that. So you will be seeing that again sometime fairly soon. Like I said, it's 2.5mm hook. Yeah, and that's it. One cute but very cuddly monster. So hopefully you've liked that. That's obviously part of my Halloween, well, kind of Halloween-y series. But I thought, you know, especially for the younger kids, it's something that they can join in with Halloween. It could be a Halloween decoration or just a toy for them. It doesn't even have to be for Halloween, you know. Kids love monsters all year round, don't they? So I thought that was quite cute. So this will be going off to Woolly Hugs for the refugee, not for the refugee project, Woolly Hugs for the Christmas Belarus project. Children that don't have any toys of their own for Christmas, so this will be one child's Christmas gift. So hopefully that will make a child very happy. I'm super pleased with it. Was definitely, you know, it did take me quite a while to do. Definitely worth the work and definitely worth the result, and I'm really glad I did it, and I do recommend the pattern. So like I said, I'll link the pattern down in the description where you can get it from. Yes, so that's it predominantly for the craft bit. I do have a channel shout out for a new channel that's just started. She's actually one of my subscribers, which is how I always sub back to anyone that's subscribed to me if they allow their subscription to be shown, because some people can hide their subscriptions. I do try and sub back, because I found quite often that people start channels and you wouldn't necessarily know about it unless you subscribed. So anyway, it's a lovely lady called Jane. She's in America, I do believe. She's a knitter and a crocheter, but she does do other crafts as well, although from what she said, I think she's primarily a crocheter. So her channel is called Scraptastic Yarns Podcast. I did tell her I was going to do a shout out and I forgot on my last video, so apologies, Jane. But here it is. So I will link her channel down in the description. I know a lot of you guys like finding new channels, new people to listen to. And obviously get fresh ideas from people. I think she does, from what I've seen in her first video, she does quite a lot of charity stuff as well. So similar sort of idea to what I do, basically. Yeah, so that's it for the craft bit. Life update. The only thing that's really happened is I had to take my friend for an appointment. Same place in the city that I went to a few weeks ago, where I had the aggressive passenger incident in another car. This time, no incidents, no aggression from anyone. I didn't get lost this time. I ignored the sat-nav when it tried to send me through the town again, or through the city centre, I should say. So I live in a town, as towns have it for saying that. Yes, we found a way back. The main motorway, or dual carriageway, is in the where I live, is so it's 2 lanes of traffic rather than 3. Was very busy coming back, so I did get very tired. If you're new to the channel, I suffer from depression and anxiety, and yeah, concentration can be an issue. So I was getting very tired on the way back, because it's about an hour's drive. So yeah, very tired. Didn't sleep very well last night. Just had a bit of an iffy night. I think it was just overtiredness. So my friend's exhausted from the appointment. I'm exhausted from it. So we're both flagging a bit today. So hopefully I've explained the monster fairly well. My brain's just like, oh. So it's all been a bit of a struggle to get through that, but hopefully that was clear enough for you guys. Other than that, we've got some more appointments coming this week, so it's just going to be busy again, and kind of resting as much as we can in between. Yeah, that's it. So it's just normal life for the next few days until the next appointment. I want to just say happy World Mental Health Day for all of you that are also sufferers around the world. you know, it's a good day to publicise things, and I'm actually thinking about doing a separate video, which I might do, just to talk about mental health a bit, so keep an eye out for that. If I haven't already put that up before this video, who knows. The other thing I wanted to do, you know, I've hit 1,000 subs. There are lots of people that are only just starting to get to know me and the channel. So I was thinking about doing a Q&A. So, this is your opportunity. Is there something you would like to know about me? You know, I will answer personal questions up to a point, obviously. You know, obviously, don't expect me to give away anything about my friend's health or anything like that, because obviously that's confidential. But if there's anything you'd like to know about me as a person, about my crafting or anything else, just pop a question down in the comment section, and I will do a Q&A video. I might even try and do it live. I'll see how we go. I might be able to do the Q&A this week if I was to do it live, just because it's a bit hectic this week. But yeah, I might try and maybe I might do the Q&A, possibly live stream. I don't know. See what you guys would like. Would you like me to live stream and do the Q&A that way? Obviously, I'd like the questions up front, so I've got time to think about it, because I'm not very good at thinking on my feet. Yeah, let me know what you think. It's just an idea. I thought it'd be something a little bit different, and you could get to know me a bit more as a person. Yeah. So, we'll leave it at that. So, that's it. I hope you're all okay wherever you are in the world. And obviously, if you're preparing for Halloween, I hope your preparations are going okay. And yeah, it won't be long before Halloween's here, and we'll be thinking about Christmas. The big C word. Yeah. So I'm going to leave it here, because I could ramble for hours, because I'm very tired. I'm okay, don't worry, it's just fatigue, that's all it is. And quite clearly I talked myself out of time. I have a limit on how much I can record in one go. Didn't notice that the timer was just about to cut out. So it's just the last few seconds. So, as I was about to say, so until next time, remember to stay well, happy crafting, and until next time, remember to stay true to yourself. Bye.